Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Greg Marshall, and today I want to talk to you about a recent conversation I had with a client today. We were having lunch and we were discussing something that's often not really talked about when it comes to marketing and marketing strategy, right? So with marketing strategy, most people just think run an ad or put an advertisement in the radio or TV or whatever, right? Some type of tactic, right? But that's not really a marketing strategy. Marketing strategy has to do from start to finish, from the type of content they see, both content that is designed to get them to like book a call or to buy your stuff, and then content that is designed to like warm them up, because we cannot rush the actual buying process of our customers. We can only persuade and influence the speed at which they go through the journey, right? So we were talking and I was actually revealing a strategy that's so important that it's simple and it makes sense when you hear it, but it's often overlooked when it comes to actually making the strategy. So typically people are like quick to, hey, let's get some advertisement out there. Let's go make that money right now, right? And that's great. Love the ambition, love the idea. I mean, I too am a business owner and also want to make money. But here's what you got to do. You got to do that at the respect of the customer that you're going after, right? You have to essentially move them at a pace that gives them all the information that they would need in order to want to do business with you. So I shared the example of like when I was in the personal training world, the way, the depth that I went into how we should do our marketing was, we were competing with a lot of big gyms, right? And with big gyms comes big budgets. So they're obviously going to be able to outspend us. They're going to be able to outdo everything when it comes to a financial model. But what they can't do is that doesn't guarantee their strategy could be better than mine. And so what we did was we created a strategy where we targeted people. I knew that all of the marketing and advertising of those gyms, all of their messaging is really geared towards like, look really sexy, have a great body, and it's pictures of perfect fitness models, both male and female, that really fit an ideal that a lot of people secretly, even though they will never tell you this, will not believe that they can achieve. So what this does is it creates kind of this weird dynamic of like the marketing really attracts maybe people who already believe they're kind of fit, and those small percentage of people that are at least confident enough to take that next step. But what about the people that don't believe that they can reach those goals, right? What about the people that feel like that is not possible? Or maybe they have a physical limitation. Maybe they've got injuries in their body. They can't walk. Maybe they've got some health issues. Maybe they're running into different types of diseases or whatnot. What about those people that fitness is very important, but because all of the marketing is all about vanity and how perfect you look, how that makes those individuals feel, right? And those individuals need fitness just as much as anyone else. So what we decided to do was we actually switched up our marketing to target the pockets of people, from the language we spoke to the way we hired people to the way we delivered the service to the way we actually sold our service, right? All of that was with that piece in mind, knowing, hey, if I'm going to go ahead and go after a section that these other gyms really aren't marketing to based on the messaging that they have, then this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for me to compete with the big boys, right? When it comes to business and when it comes to acquiring new customers to want to work with me. And the key is it's well thought out, right? So I understood from start to finish. I knew their big objections were they don't want to be in a big box gym. They feel scared and intimidated to go into a gym. They feel like they don't belong in a gym. They feel like they will get laughed out of the gym. They feel like their outfits are not, trendy enough to be in the gym. They just feel completely like an outcast, right? And because of that, all of my marketing messaging spoke to that, right? So we actually spoke to, hey, if you're tired of big box gyms and you're worried about people looking at you, instead of doing that, come to our private studio where we can train you with a professional. And then I show them one of the trainers that's built like a regular person, not like a huge bodybuilder or a woman who's a bikini model, right? And then I go ahead and get them paired together with them. And then the way we sell was all about communicating that we're here as a teammate, not a biggest loser type scream at you and embarrass you in front of everyone, but we're here to support you, and we understand that. And I explained to them my entire process and thought on why we do what we do, the core values, types of people we hire, the reason why we hire them, and ultimately what our big picture goal was, right? And that ended up working out tremendously because that person felt understood. Strong, effective marketing is all about making the customer feel so understood that they feel like there is no other option but you. And here's the thing. If you're a smaller company and you're playing in a highly competitive, arena with bigger businesses, with bigger budgets and things like that, you can still compete, but you have to make sure you're crafty. You have to make sure that that you can actually have a better message. Have a more well thought out process, that you have everything in place and in order to make sure that the customer understands that you understand their issues, their problems, what they want to accomplish, what they want to achieve. And if you really think of an entire messaging system, if you will, if you think about your marketing that way, you won't have so many yo-yo effects, right? You won't have so many like, why did I do good this month and then not so good next month, and what's going on, or where's the next leads coming from, or I can't fill up my classes, or I can't fill up this, or I don't have enough patients coming in to see me. Like all of those problems, they're a marketing system problem, right? So this goes to my next thing. I was talking to this client. I said, what we want to be doing is building marketing systems, not random campaigns, not random acts of marketing, but systems that actually run. So what I mean by that is like, you got advertising is just a piece of it, right? Email marketing, a piece of it. Organic content, a piece of it. Paid ads, a piece of it. It could be channels, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, outreach, email, you name it, right? But all of these things have to integrate and work together. They can't be in silos, right? So here's an example. Silos is this. Hey, I'm going to just randomly run a YouTube ad and send it to this landing page, and I'm just going to randomly run a Facebook ad or a LinkedIn ad, or I'm just going to send out a direct mail piece, right? What most businesses do not think is they do not think, how does this YouTube ad connect to my Facebook ad, that connects to my Instagram ad, that ties into my direct mail piece, that ties into my billboard, that ties into my radio, that ties into my actual sales process from start to finish. How does this all incorporate and work together, not in silos, right? So if you have things working in silos, meaning individually, that's why you're not maximizing your marketing, and that's also why you may not be getting the results you want, because it's not consistent, right? Buyers and human beings, we're very inconsistent. We're very we're not predictable, right? It's like we're kind of predictable, then we're also not, because it could depend on, did we get sleep? Are we in a fight with someone? Did we have a good day? Did we eat the right foods? Did we work out? Did we not work out? You know what I mean? Like there's so many different aspects of how things can impact people's days that behaviors can be unpredictable at times. And so what you need to have a system that accounts for that, right? A system that accounts for, what if this person needs a little bit more information? What if this person maybe would like to buy, but they're a scared buyer? There's someone who takes 6 months to do something instead of 6 weeks or 6 days, right? Or what if they're the vice versa, right? What if there's someone who they don't like a lot of information, they actually just like to buy today, which is, by the way, a much smaller percentage, but they're out there, right? And so you have to take into account all these things. What if they're like, oh, you're talking to someone who's worked with someone else in your industry, or someone else that's offering what you have to offer, and they had a bad experience? Well, do you have anything that can help them go through that, right? So your whole marketing has to be from start to finish. It has to be thought out. So the marketing system, the marketing process has to account from the first touch all the way pretty much forever, because then once they become your customer, you have to market to them then and keep making them want to be your customer, right? And so we had this conversation and we really talked about it. I said, well, if you're not positioning, because we were talking about their competitors and how their competitors are able to outsell them currently right now because of the way that they're selling it. And I said, hey, that's part of the marketing strategy. We have to figure out, right? They've positioned their offer to seem more appealing, even though the offer that they're offering to the customer is not as valuable and as illogical. The customer is still buying from them because of how it's positioned. So I said, we need to rework the positioning of your offer. Then the next thing we talked about was, well, what's your closing percentage when people get into your brick and mortar space, right? And then it was, they used to have someone who closed at 70%, who was really good. And then they used to have someone who, but now they're only closing at 20 or 30%. Well, that's a big jump, right? I mean, it takes you twice as many people, 3 times as many people with the 20 and 30% closers as it did the 70%. So what you have to think about is, okay, with our system, how do we improve our conversion rates in our system, right? Because with what you have already right now, you could actually double what you're making, double your conversion rates, double your performance without having to double the amount of traffic, which is just one way of making more. And so these are things that people are not thinking about when they're thinking about building out a marketing strategy, right? They're just thinking about ads, right? Which is a piece of marketing strategy, but not the whole thing. And yes, of course, we sell ads. We've got a team of media buyers. I got a team of media buyers, and these media buyers are great, and they have a lot of fun doing it, and this is what we do all day. But I also have videographer. I've got a marketing tech guy. We've got people who build funnels. We have got people who do email marketing. We've got a whole gamut, right? And the reason we have that is because over time, what we started to learn was with our clients, they need more help than just the advertising side, right? Because we're not doing them the full service if we're not creating an entire marketing system for them. And that's really what clients want, but they don't understand that that's what they need, right? Which is okay because they're not marketers, right? They're business owners, they're technicians. They're people that are not thinking about marketing as in depth as we are, as much as I'm thinking of it. And I think if you can create a marketing system, a well thought out, what's the follow-up sequence, right? Like I think I shared this in a video 1 or 2 videos ago where I said, working with a client who's very successful, doing great revenue per year, they got a great team, they've got 0 follow-up system. And even worse, when I asked, what does that follow-up system even look like, even if you're doing, paper and pen, they still were like, well, we just kind of feel it out. And that's a huge problem. You're missing out on a lot of opportunities by just kind of winging it and not having documented systems. Because if you want things to be predictable, you have to have things documented. It must be a system. If it is not a system, you're just running marketing tactics, and that's unsustainable because it's not going to work. It's not going to work if you're just doing a bunch of random acts, because what happens if you get burnt out? What happens if you get tired? What happens if, I don't know, what happens if for some reason we run into another, crazy situation in the world where things shut down for a little bit? Like, you have to take all these into account and go, how do I make systems that are not dependent just on me or 1 key player or 2 key players? How do I make a system that I could plug and play and have people run it, and it could be predictable? And yeah, maybe it's not running at 100% efficiency the way you want, but let's say it's running at 80. Well, that's better than 0, right? That's better than if you have no documented system and you're running at 0 and you're not able to capture anything and repeat it. There's no value in that, right? And that makes your life a whole lot more stressful and a lot harder. Something that's, something that I share that I've gotten made fun of before in different mastermind groups that I'm in, but I actually strive for this. Each week, I focus on how can I get more and more done with less and less demand on my time, right? It's a good drill for a business owner to do, because if you do that, you force yourself to make systems, right? Then you realize, if I wanted to golf all day, or if I wanted to go work out all day, or if I wanted to go on a 3-month vacation or whatever, what would happen if I just didn't work, right? And for most businesses, the answer is going to be nothing would happen, meaning no productivity. Everything will kind of come to a slowing halt, and you're not going to be able to repeat a lot of the things that you're currently doing, and that's a problem, right? That's what causes the burnout and the stress, is by not having systems. You're not able to take a step away and look at it. And if you're too close to it all the time, you don't even see gaping holes that are there, right? And so you want to focus on building marketing systems, having a real marketing strategy, and taking that part very serious. And yeah, this doesn't take, you don't have to, sit down and think about this for 4 months before you do anything. I mean, this could just be as simple as set a time tomorrow and start writing down, what do you want to happen? What is your marketing system? What makes the most sense? And build it, right? Even if it's 60% built, it's still better than what you have now, which is at 0. Build the system and then start tweaking and optimizing it. You will get far better results, and you will notice, you'll say, why haven't I done this before? Like, I should have been doing this for years, right? Because it's just gonna make everything feel so much easier, so much more streamlined, and you're just gonna feel less stress and anxiety about getting your brand out there, getting more leads, getting more sales, because you have a system in place. And then what's even better is if you create a system and you can document it and hand it off to someone, you can start buying back your time, right? There's a guy I like to follow, Dan Martell. He really talks about buying back your time and using your time for the highest leverage activities so that whatever actions you're doing gets you the biggest results, right? And if you want the bigger results, this is pretty much what we have to do, is constantly challenge. What are we doing? Can we do it faster? Can we do it more effective? But most importantly, as the business owner, can I not do it, right? Not because we're lazy. Not because we're lazy and we don't want to do it, but because we want to do so much more and really make an impact that the only way to do it is to not have me do it, right? Or have you do it. Because we can become the bottleneck that prevents the business from actually growing. Because we get in the way, we get sidetracked. A lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, we got the ADD, oh, let's try this, let's try that. And we don't stick to something into its completion and make sure that it's actually working. And the ones that do really well in business, you'll notice they have really well thought out systems, right? There's no way you would go to Amazon and Jeff Bezos would say, yeah, we just kind of like, an order comes in, I just kind of call like Sally to do that. Like, there's no, we kind of, it's from start to finish. Hey, they see this ad, they go here, they do this, this happens, it sends this order, then from this order it goes here. There's a process, right? And that's what you want to do with your marketing. Many business owners are actually pretty good at making systems for fulfillment, right? How to actually do the thing people are buying or give them the product, right? But for some reason, business owners do not consider a marketing system when they're building their entire business, which is crazy, because you would never have a fulfillment aspect of just guessing or winging it, because you would know how disorganized that would be and how ineffective and inefficient, how much money you would lose. But yet, that's what a lot of business owners do when they do their marketing strategies. They just kind of wing it. So my challenge to you, stop winging your marketing. Create a marketing system. Get your marketing messaging right. Get your offer right. And find what you do really well and focus heavily on that. And don't let the big boys, or even if you're already a big boy, don't let the bigger boys or gals get in your head of thinking that you can't compete, because you can. It's more, you just got to be more creative and you have to be more resourceful, but it's definitely possible if you're willing to do it. So hopefully you like this video. If you have any comments or questions, like or leave a comment below. And once again, I appreciate you watching this. And if you ever need help, go to fituremarketing.com. You guys take it easy.